First contact with legacy. The nebula of lost dreams lived up to its name. Senior archaeologist Zira thought as she guided her research vessel through swirling clouds of purple and blue gas. The Varsian scientist's crystalline eyes adjusted to the ethereal light, her scaled fingers dancing across holographic controls as she maneuvered deeper into the cosmic maze. Behind her, the rest of her alien crew worked in focused silence, each member representing a different species united in their quest to understand the mysteries of the ancient human civilization. Energy signature detected, announced Cuttle, the ship's meridian sensor specialist, his bioluminescent patches pulsing with excitement. It's faint, but it's there. Pattern doesn't match any known technology. Zyra's heart quickened. After 3 years of following fragmentary clues about humanity's final days, they might have finally found something substantial. The humans had vanished from the galaxy 8 centuries ago, leaving behind only scattered outposts and incomplete records. Their disappearance remained one of the greatest scientific mysteries in known space. "Put it on the main display," she ordered, her lateral fins flaring with anticipation. The holographic screen materialized before them, showing a massive structure hidden within the nebula's densest region. At first glance, it appeared to be an asteroid, but as their sensors penetrated the surrounding gas, they revealed geometric patterns too perfect to be natural. "By the eternal current," whispered Ran, the team's Nexari historian, his feathered crest rising in shock. "That's bigger than any human station on record. Our historical archives show nothing even close to this scale." The structure stretched for kilometers, its dark surface absorbing the nebula's light rather than reflecting it. As they drew closer, they could see that what initially appeared to be impact craters were actually massive hangars and docking bays, their doors sealed by technology that somehow remained operational after centuries of abandonment. "I'm detecting unusual material composition," Cuttle reported, his tendrils writhing with confusion. "The outer hull appears to be made of some kind of adaptive metal matrix. It's changing at the molecular level as we scan it." Zyra leaned forward, her scientific training warring with her instincts for caution. "Any signs of active defense systems?" "Negative," Cuttle responded, "but there's something odd about the energy readings. They seem to be increasing, as if the structure is responding to our presence." Before Zyra could respond, a soft chime echoed through the bridge. On their screens, ancient human script began to appear, automatically translated by their systems. "Ingenious station, automated hyperotociolas, NJGGD, initiating to our elemen area ASCSS of APP reaching vessel." "We're being scanned," Cuttle announced, his bioluminescence shifting to a worried purple. "The station's systems are fully operational." Zyra felt a shiver run down her spine. Everything they knew about human technology suggested this was impossible. Power systems from that era should have failed centuries ago, yet this station was not only intact but actively functioning. "Look there," Rand pointed to a section of the station's hull that was beginning to transform. Plates of dark metal flowed like liquid, revealing an entrance perfectly sized for their research vessel. "It's inviting us in." The decision weighed heavily on Zyra. Standard protocol dictated they should retreat and call for backup when encountering active human technology. But she knew that if they left, larger institutions would swoop in and take over the discovery. This was their chance to uncover the truth about humanity's disappearance. "Take us in," she ordered, her voice steady despite her racing hearts. "But maintain emergency jump readiness." The humans were known for their elaborate security systems. As their ship passed through the opening, lights activated along vast corridors clearly designed for vessels many times their size. The scale was staggering. This wasn't just a station, it was an entire complex that could have housed a fleet. "New data coming in," Cuttle reported, his voice filled with awe. "These energy signatures, they're not just power systems. The whole station appears to be constructed from smart matter. Every surface, every wall. It's all one interconnected network of programmable material. Rand was practically bouncing with excitement as he analyzed the historical implications. This technology, it's centuries beyond what humans were supposed to have when they vanished. Either our historical records are wrong, or they were hiding their true capabilities. Zyra finished, watching as another set of doors opened before them, leading deeper into the station's heart. The question is, why? And more importantly, where did they go? The station's internal lighting grew stronger, illuminating a vast central chamber that made their earlier size estimates seem conservative. Suspended in the chamber's center was a massive spherical structure, its surface covered in the same flowing patterns they'd observed outside. Energy spike. Call called out suddenly. Something's activating. The sphere began to pulse with a soft blue light, and a new message appeared on their screens. Preliminary assessment complete. Initiating Ingenious protocol phase 1. Welcome, inheritors. As the message faded, the chamber erupted with holographic displays, showing star maps, technical schematics, and streams of data that would take years to analyze. But one image caught Zara's attention immediately. A representation of the galaxy with thousands of points of light, marking locations of similar stations. This isn't just a hidden outpost, she breathed, her fins trembling as she grasped the implications. It's part of a network. The humans, they built all of this in secret. The sphere's pulsing increased in intensity, and new text scrolled across their screens. Transmission sequence NITID. The architects will return. Zyra exchanged looks with her crew, knowing they had stumbled upon something far bigger than a simple archaeological discovery. The humans hadn't vanished. They had orchestrated the greatest deception in galactic history. And now, after 8 centuries, their plan was finally being set in motion. As if to emphasize this revelation, the station's systems began activating in sequence, each system more advanced than anything in their current technological understanding. They weren't just witnesses to history anymore. They were about to become part of it. The question was, were they ready for what came next? Awakening the Titan. The holographic displays surrounding Zyra's team continued to multiply, filling the chamber with cascading streams of information. Cthulhu's bioluminescent patches flickered rapidly as he attempted to process the flood of data pouring through their systems. These schematics, he said, his tendrils twisting in excitement, they're not just technical drawings. They're complete manufacturing templates for technologies we've only theorized about. Quantum phase drives, dark energy manipulators, consciousness transfer matrices. Rand moved through the holographic forest of information, his historian's training helping him piece together the bigger picture. Look at these construction dates. The humans were building these stations for decades before their supposed disappearance. The level of coordination, the resources required, it's unprecedented. A new alert chimed through their ship's systems. The station's central sphere had begun to rotate, its surface patterns flowing more rapidly. Sections of the chamber's walls started to shift and transform, revealing massive machinery that had laid dormant for centuries. The Genesis Protocol, Zara muttered, watching as more systems came online. It's not just a welcome message. It's an activation sequence. She turned to her crew, her scales shimming with nervous energy. We need to understand what we're dealing with before. A deep rumble cut through her words as the station's machinery surged to life. The sphere's rotation accelerated, and streams of what looked like liquid metal began flowing through newly formed channels in the chamber's walls. Extraordinary, Catal breathed, his sensors struggling to analyze the phenomenon. That's not liquid metal. It's a mass of self-replicating nanomachines. They're reconstructing the station's internal architecture in real time. The transformation was mesmerizing. Entire sections of the chamber reconfigured themselves, revealing production lines, assembly bays, and testing facilities that dwarfed anything in modern shipyards. But it wasn't just the scale that was impressive. It was the sophistication of the technology. These production systems, Rand observed, his feathers bristling with academic excitement. They're not building ships in the traditional sense. They're growing them, using the same smart matter technology as the station itself. Zyra watched as the first production line hummed to life, raw materials being broken down and reconstituted at the atomic level. The humans didn't just advance their technology, she realized. They fundamentally changed their approach to engineering. They stopped building machines and started creating things that could build themselves. A new hologram materialized in the center of the chamber, showing a massive vessel unlike anything in their historical records. Its hull seemed to ripple and flow, much like the station's walls, suggesting it could reconfigure itself as needed. Genesis Protocol Phase 1 complete, announced the station's eye, beginning production of first Guardian-class vessel. Guardian-class? Rand questioned, quickly scanning through historical databases. There's no record of any such designation in human naval archives. Before anyone could respond, their ship's communication system crackled to life. Unidentified vessel, this is Admiral Chen of the Galactic Concordat. You are ordered to power down your systems and prepare for boarding. This facility is now under Concordat jurisdiction. Zyra's heart sank as she checked their long-range sensors. A Concordat battle fleet had entered the nebula, no doubt drawn by the station's increasing energy signatures. The Concordat, a coalition of powerful spacefaring nations, had long sought to claim any discovered human technology for themselves. Multiple ships dropping out of FTL, Cattol reported, his bioluminescence pulsing with concern. 3 heavy cruisers, multiple escort vessels. They're moving to surround the station. The station's AI spoke again, its tone unchanged despite the developing situation. External threat detected. Initiating defensive protocols. The chamber's walls rippled once more, and massive weapon arrays emerged from previously hidden compartments. But instead of targeting the approaching fleet, they began generating some kind of energy field around the station. Fascinating, Cattol said, analyzing the readings. It's not a conventional shield. The field is folding space itself around the station. The Concordat ships won't be able to get close without precise spatial coordinates. Which we have, Zyra noted grimly. The Concordat would no doubt demand they transmit their navigational data. The holographic displays shifted, now showing multiple Guardian-class vessels in various stages of construction. The production lines were moving with impossible speed, matter itself being reorganized at the quantum level to create these advanced ships. Look at these capability projections, Rand said, his crest fully extended in amazement. Each Guardian vessel has more computational power than the entire Concordat fleet combined. Their hulls can adapt to any combat situation. Their weapons can manipulate fundamental forces. These aren't just warships. They're mobile space-time manipulation platforms. The Admiral's voice came through again, more insistent this time. This is your final warning. Surrender control of the facility or face immediate military response. But the station had other plans. The sphere's rotation reached its peak, and suddenly every production line in the chamber activated simultaneously. The AI's voice echoed through the facility. Genesis Protocol Phase 2 initiated. Beginning mass production of Guardian Fleet. The architects must be protected. The architects, Zyra repeated, remembering the earlier message. The humans. They're coming back. This isn't just a hidden shipyard, it's a beachhead. As if in response to her words, new data appeared on their screens, coordinates for hundreds of similar stations scattered throughout the galaxy, all beginning to awaken. The humans hadn't just hidden their technology. They had seeded the entire galaxy with these facilities, waiting for the right moment to activate them. The question now was whether the Concordat would inadvertently trigger that moment before anyone was ready for humanity's return. The station's defenses continued to strengthen, its smart matter reconfiguring to create increasingly complex spatial distortions around them. They were trapped between the awakening giant of human technological might and the gathering storm of current galactic politics. And somewhere out there, The architects were waiting, their grand plan finally beginning to unfold. Echoes of humanity. The Guardian-class vessel taking shape before them was a testament to human ingenuity. Its hull rippled like liquid metal, quantum computers woven into its very structure making billions of calculations per second to optimize its form. Through the station's protective barrier, they could see the Concordat fleet holding position, their weapons powered but useless against the spatial distortions surrounding the facility. 3 more fleets dropping out of FTL, Catal announced, his bioluminescent patches pulsing anxiously. The collective of free worlds, the Mercantile Alliance, and the Nexari Empire. He glanced at Ran, whose feathers ruffled at the mention of his people's military forces. Everyone wants the technology, Zyra said, watching as the station continued its relentless production. But I don't think they understand what they're dealing with. The station's AI spoke again, its voice echoing through the vast chamber. Warning: multiple hostile forces detected. Initiating Protocol Omega. Beginning transmission of activation signals to all Genesis facilities. New holograms materialized around them, showing similar stations across the galaxy awakening from their centuries-long slumber. Each facility began producing its own Guardian vessels, their combined manufacturing capacity staggering to comprehend. Look at this, Rand called out, his historian's training helping him decode a new stream of data. I found personnel logs, research notes. The humans, they weren't just building weapons. They were evolving themselves. The holographic displays shifted to show detailed schematics of human neural enhancement systems, consciousness transfer protocols, and biological augmentations far beyond current medical science. The humans hadn't just advanced their technology. They had systematically redesigned their own species. That's why they disappeared, Zyra realized, her scales shimmering with excitement. They weren't running away or dying out. They were entering a chrysalis stage, preparing for a transformation. Hill's tendrils writhed as he processed new sensor data. Energy spike. Something's happening in the central sphere. The massive orb had begun to pulse with increasing intensity, its surface patterns forming new, more complex configurations. Suddenly, a beam of coherent energy shot from its apex, passing harmlessly through the station's defenses and into deep space. It's a quantum entanglement signal, Kitol explained, his bioluminescence flickering rapidly. Untraceable, instantaneous. And it's being received. The response was immediate. Throughout the chamber, new holograms sprang to life, showing vast structures hidden in the dark space between galaxies. Space stations orders of magnitude larger than even this facility, their designs incorporating technologies that made the Guardian vessels look primitive by comparison. Those aren't stations, Rand whispered, his crest fully extended in awe. They're cities. The humans built entire cities in intergalactic space. The A's voice returned, but this time it was different, richer, more nuanced. Greetings, inheritors of the galaxy. I am ARI, the Advanced Recursive Intelligence Assistant. I was created by the architects to guide the next phase of their plan. Zara stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overriding her caution. What plan? What were the humans preparing for? Observation and analysis indicated that the galaxy was not ready for what was coming. ARI responded. The architects, those you knew as humanity, chose to step back, to prepare in secret for threats beyond your current understanding. New displays activated, showing strange distortions in the fabric of space-time at the galaxy's edge. They're coming, ARI continued. Entities from outside our universe, drawn by the development of faster-than-light technology. The humans detected them centuries ago, and knew the galaxy's civilizations were too divided, too technologically primitive to survive the contact. The gathered fleets outside the station were growing restless. The Concordat vessels had begun moving into attack formation, while the other factions positioned themselves to claim whatever advantage they could. Admiral Chen to all vessels, the Concordat commander's voice boomed through all channels. Prepare to breach the station's defenses. We cannot allow any single faction to claim this technology. Aria's response was immediate. The Guardian vessel's construction accelerated, its systems coming online, even as the final sections of its hull formed. The architects anticipated this reaction. Protocol Omega will proceed regardless of interference. More signals. Hull called out. The other Genesis stations, they're all activating simultaneously. The production network is going into full automation. Through their view screens, they watched as the Guardian vessel completed its transformation. Its hull had settled into a configuration that seemed to bend light around it, making it difficult to focus on directly. Weapon systems, unlike anything in known space, emerged from its surface, not so much built as grown from the living metal of its structure. The architects are awakening, Aria announced. The Genesis network was designed to protect the galaxy while they completed their evolution. Now, after 8 centuries of preparation, they are ready to return. A new signal pulsed through space, originating from the distant cities they'd seen. In response, the Guardian vessel's systems fully activated, its consciousness-level AI coming online. Similar ships were launching from other Genesis stations across the galaxy, each one a masterpiece of self-evolving technology. Final warning. Admiral Chen's voice came again. Surrender the facility or face immediate military action. But before anyone could respond, space itself seemed to shiver. At points throughout the galaxy, massive ruptures began to form, not the violent tears of primitive jump drives, but carefully engineered gateways. Through these portals, they caught glimpses of vast fleets of ships that made even the Guardian vessels look small by comparison. The architects return, Aria stated simply. And they do not come alone. They bring gifts of knowledge, of technology, of transformation. The question is, will the galaxy's civilizations choose to evolve with them or cling to their limitations? As if to emphasize the point, the Guardian vessel moved into position between the station and the gathered fleets. Its mere presence seemed to distort the local laws of physics, a demonstration of power that made the assembled military might of multiple civilizations seem suddenly insignificant. The human age of hiding was over. The age of transformation was about to begin. The Guardian Protocol. The massive quantum gateways pulsed with energy, their edges rippling with possibilities as they connected normal space to wherever humanity had been hiding. Through these portals came not the expected warships, but something far more profound. Vessels that seemed to be made of condensed starlight, their forms shifting and flowing like living constellations. By the eternal current, Zyra breathed, her scales shimmering in response to the otherworldly display. They're not just ships. They're metamorphs, Aria completed. The architects have transcended the distinction between biological and mechanical existence. These vessels are extensions of their evolved consciousness, as much a part of them as your limbs are of you. The assembled fleets reacted to the new arrivals with predictable alarm. Weapons locked on, shields raised, and engines powered up for emergency maneuvers. The tension in space was practically visible. All vessels, hold your fire. Admiral Chen's voice had lost its earlier certainty. I repeat, hold your fire. We are attempting to establish communication with the incoming entities. Fittle's bioluminescent patches were practically strobing as he analyzed the sensor data. The energy readings from just one of those ships. It's like looking at a contained supernova. They're manipulating forces we barely understand exist. One of the human vessels, massive yet somehow graceful, moved forward, positioning itself between the Genesis station and the gathered fleets. Its surface rippled with patterns of light that seemed to carry meaning beyond normal communication. Incoming transmission, Catal announced. It's different. The signal isn't using any known protocol, but somehow our systems are translating it. A new voice filled the chamber, neither male nor female, neither synthetic nor organic, but something altogether different. We are the architects, though once we were known to you as humanity. We return not as conquerors, but as guardians against a storm you cannot yet see. The holograms around them shifted, showing the strange distortions at the galaxy's edge in greater detail. What had appeared as simple anomalies now revealed themselves to be wounds in reality itself, places where something was trying to break through from another dimension. The Void Hunters, the architect's voice continued, entities that exist in dimensions beyond your comprehension. They feed on civilizations that reach a certain technological threshold, drawn by the quantum disturbances of early FTL travel. We detected them centuries ago, but knew the galaxy was too divided, too primitive in its understanding to face such a threat. New images appeared, showing the history of humanity's transformation. Their journey from primitive biological beings to their current state had been carefully planned, each step building upon the last in a deliberate evolution. The Genesis network was Phase 1, Ariad explained, preparing the galaxy's defenses while the architects completed their metamorphosis. The Guardian vessels are not merely weapons, they are seeds of transformation, carrying the knowledge and technology needed to help other species evolve. Rand's historian training kicked in as he connected the pieces. The humans didn't abandon the galaxy. They became its immune system, preparing it for a threat only they could see coming. Outside the station, more human vessels emerged from the quantum gateways. Each one was unique, their forms adapted to different aspects of their mission. Some appeared designed for cosmic engineering, others for energy manipulation, and still others for purposes that defied easy categorization. "We offer you a choice," the architect announced to the gathered fleets. "You can maintain your current path, fighting among yourselves for fragments of technology you barely understand, or you can join us in preparation for the real war, the defense of all reality against forces that would consume it." Admiral Chen's voice returned, more measured now. "You speak of threats and transformation, but why should we trust you? You abandoned the galaxy, hid your true capabilities, built secret facilities in our territories." "We did what was necessary," the architect responded, "to ensure there would be a galaxy left to save." The Void Hunters do not negotiate. They do not show mercy. They simply consume, breaking down dimensional barriers and absorbing entire realities into their own. We have spent centuries preparing not just ourselves, but this entire region of space for their arrival. As if to demonstrate their power, one of the human vessels released a pulse of energy that momentarily illuminated the quantum structure of space itself. The gathered fleets saw, for just a moment, the multiple dimensions their reality was built upon, and the dark things moving through them. "The Genesis network activates now because we have no more time," the architect continued. "The Void Hunters approach. The Guardian vessels will help coordinate the galaxy's defense, but they are only tools. The real power lies in evolution, in the transformation of all sentient species into something greater than the sum of their current limitations." Zyra watched as the Guardian vessel near them began to change, its structure shifting to reveal chambers designed to host and transform other species. The humans hadn't just evolved themselves, they had created the means to share that evolution with others. "We offer you the keys to your own transcendence." The architect's voice resonated with possibility. "Not to become what we are, but to become what you could be. Each species following its own path of evolution, guided by the knowledge we have gained." The station hummed with power as more Guardian vessels took shape, each one a combination of weapon, sanctuary, and transformation engine. The humans had spent centuries preparing this moment, the beginning of the galaxy's metamorphosis. Now the only question was, would the galaxy's civilizations accept the opportunity or cling to their familiar limitations in the face of an incomprehensible threat? Return of the Architects. The silence that followed the architect's revelation stretched across space, broken only by the subtle hum of the Genesis station's machinery. The gathered fleets remained in position, their crews trying to process the magnitude of what they had just learned. Humanity hadn't fled or vanished. They had ascended, becoming something that bordered on the divine. "Admiral," one of the Concordat captains broke the silence. "The Mercantile Alliance ships are powering up their drives. They're preparing to withdraw. Before Admiral Chen could respond, another voice cut through the communications channels, this one belonging to the Nexari Empire's supreme commander. The Empire will hear these architects. If what they show us is true, we face something far beyond our petty political squabbles. Zyra watched as the massive human vessel above them continued its mesmerizing dance of light and energy. Its surface patterns had evolved into something even more complex, telling a story that spoke directly to the primitive parts of their brains that remembered when their own species had taken their first steps into consciousness. "We are detecting dimensional anomalies at the galaxy's edge," Cuttle reported, his bioluminescence pulsing with anxiety. The architect's warnings. They're not theoretical. Something is coming. The holographic displays around them shifted to show the approaching threat. In higher dimensions that their minds could barely perceive, vast shapes moved through the void between realities. They defied description, existing in geometries that made basic physics scream in protest. The Void Hunters arrive ahead of schedule. The architect's voice resonated through space. "We had hoped for more time to prepare you, but now we must act. Observe." One of the human vessels, sleek and deadly, yet beautiful in its complexity, moved to the edge of their sensor range. As they watched, it released a pulse of energy that bent space itself, creating a window into another dimension. Through this portal, they could see one of the Void Hunters in its true form. It was vast beyond comprehension, a being of such alien geometry that looking at it caused physical pain. Its very existence was an offense to reality, a cancer in the fabric of space-time that consumed everything it touched. That, Aria's voice was grim, is what the architects have spent centuries preparing to fight. But they cannot do it alone. The galaxy must evolve, must transcend its current limitations, or all will be lost. As if to emphasize this point, the guardian vessel near them began to transform again. Its hull opened like a blooming flower, revealing chambers filled with technology that blurred the line between machine and miracle. "We offer you the future," the architect announced. "Not as servants, not as subjects, but as equals in the fight to preserve reality itself. Each species will follow its own path of evolution, guided by the knowledge we have gained, but free to become something unique to their own nature." Admiral Chen's voice, when it came, carried the weight of history. "And if we refuse, if we choose to remain as we are, then you will face the Void Hunters alone." The architect responded simply, "We cannot force evolution upon you. We can only offer the opportunity and the tools to achieve it. The choice must be yours." Zyra stepped forward, her scientific mind racing with possibilities. The guardian vessels. They're not just weapons or ships. They're catalysts for controlled evolution, aren't they? Each one designed to help a specific species transcend their current limitations while maintaining their essential nature. "Correct," Aria confirmed. The architects spent centuries studying every spacefaring race, understanding their unique biological and cultural characteristics. Each guardian vessel is specifically calibrated to guide a species toward their optimal evolutionary path. Outside the station, the gathered fleets had begun to move, not in attack formation, but in a pattern that suggested deep uncertainty. The revelation of the Void Hunters had shaken their confidence in their own power and technology. "The collective of free worlds accepts your offer," a new voice announced over the common channel. "We have seen enough to know that we cannot face this threat alone." One by one, other factions began to signal their acceptance. Even the Concordat, after a tense internal debate, chose to embrace the path of evolution over extinction. "It begins," the architect's voice carried a note of satisfaction. "The Genesis network will coordinate your transformation. Each species will evolve at its own pace, maintaining its unique identity while transcending its former limitations." As they watched, more quantum gateways opened across the galaxy. Through them came not just human vessels, but entire cities, vast structures that would serve as transformation centers for billions of beings. The architects had prepared for every possibility, created solutions for problems most species didn't even know existed. "Look," Rand pointed to new data streaming across their screens. The humans, they're not just offering technology. They're sharing their history, their mistakes, their entire journey of transcendence. They want us to understand not just how to evolve, but why each step is necessary. Zaira felt a shiver run through her scales as she realized the true magnitude of what was happening. This wasn't just first contact with a returned species. It wasn't even just about defending against the Void Hunters. This was the beginning of a new chapter in the history of life itself. The Guardian vessel near them pulsed with energy, its systems ready to begin the process of transformation. Above them, the human ship continued its ethereal dance, a reminder of what they might all become. The age of division is over, the architect declared. The age of transcendence begins. Together, we will forge something new. A galaxy of diverse but evolved species, each unique, each powerful, each ready to stand against the darkness that comes. As the Genesis network activated across the galaxy, as thousands of Guardian vessels prepared to guide billions of beings toward their next stage of existence, Zaira understood that they had witnessed not just the return of humanity, but the birth of a new era in cosmic evolution. The humans had not abandoned them. They had gone ahead, preparing the way, becoming what they needed to be to ensure the survival of all. Now they had returned, offering not conquest or submission, but partnership in the greatest transformation the galaxy had ever known. The war for reality itself was about to begin, and they would face it not as they were, but as what they were about to become.